President Moon Jae-in has asked the nation's support for the successful arrangement of the historic summits ahead. Elsewhere around the world, his key officials are hard at work trying to get jittery regional powers on the same page when it comes to dialogue with North Korea. Our chief Cheongwadae correspondent Moon Connyoung starts us off.
With the two Koreas' decision to hold a historic summit in late April and the U.S. President Donald Trump's stunning decision to accept a face-to-face meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, all set to happen in the next 2 months, South Korean President Moon Jae-in and his Blue House remains extra cautious in taking the process forward so as to not blow off a hard-won chance.
한반도 비핵화와 항구적 평화 체제, 남북 공동 번영의 길을 열 수 있는 소중한 기회가 마련되었습니다. 그러나 우리가 2달이라는 짧은 기간에 이루려고 하는 것은 지금까지 세계가 성공하지 못했던 대전환의 길입니다. 그래서 그 결과도 낙관하기가 어렵고 과정도 조심스러운 것이 현실입니다.
While the South Korean president pleaded for nationwide support for the success of the upcoming talks across the political aisle and ideological differences, on the foreign relations front, he began his efforts to bring jittery regional powers on board. His national security advisor Chung Eui-yong traveled to Beijing and met with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Monday, while a parallel delegation headed by National Intelligence Service Director Seo Hoon flew to Tokyo to brief Japanese officials on the attempts to open talks with Pyongyang on its nuclear and missile program.
Our President Moon Jae-in and the South Korean government believe that various advances toward achieving the goal of peace and denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula have been made possible with active support and contribution from President Xi Jinping and the Chinese government.
Yang said China insists on all parties sticking to solving the issue through dialogue and consultation.
As long as all parties insist on solving the issue politically and maintain this direction, we can undoubtedly lead the situation on the Korean Peninsula to move forward in the direction in which the global community hopes for.
Chung is also scheduled to visit Russia on Tuesday, where he'll likely sit down with Russian President Vladimir Putin to brief him on the outcome of the North Korea trip and the progress of the subsequent talks.
The South Korean president says the fate of this country and the Korean Peninsula hangs on how things are handled in the next 2 months, this opportunity that has landed in the world's hands like a miracle. And amid lingering uncertainty and anxiety running through the minds of all those involved in this process, experts warn you can never be too careful in a delicate situation like this, and don't count your summits until they're hatched. Moon Connyoung, Arirang News, the Blue House.